Yo, JD here, and we are back on F1 2018 today. And the last video I did, I was explaining how the ERS actually works, the differences between the overtake and the hot lap mode, and someone raised quite a good comment on that video which got my attention, which is the reason why I made this video here today. And you should notice by the MFD at the bottom, we are running the auto ERS, because as I said, there's a few comments in my last video regarding this. And I've never personally tested it. I've never thought it would be an actual thing that you would probably use or in a league or anything at all. I'm not even sure if they actually allow you to use that, but I thought I would test it regardless for if they were allowing it in some leagues or just for casual players who just want to play to have fun and stuff to hopefully improve you. So we just thought today we'd test this. We're around Spa. Chose this because this normally is quite a pretty engine dominant circuit, and the ERS does run out before the lap when you do it in one-shot mode and just in short qualifying and stuff like that. So I thought this would be a pretty good pace to test because a lot of it's straight line speed and you need as much power as possible. So we're going to keep an eye on the lap times and also the ERS usage, which is around about 70-ish% at the moment. And you can see the bottom right as well, it tells you what mode it's in as well. So 0 would be nothing, 1 would be low, then it'd be medium, then it'd be high, then it'd be 4 it's overtake, and then 5 it's hot lap mode. And I'll be just showing you my experiences, or just telling you my experiences as well, because I've actually tested this on quite a few tracks and different scenarios, from starting at the back of the grid to see if that actually alters in any way due to AI being in front of you and etc. But this is some free laps around here, default setup, because whenever I test something I always like to use completely default, so as you can see the brakes and even the diff are completely the same, not playing around with the fuel. We are strictly just playing with the ERS here. We've done a 47.6 in his first lap, and I did a number of these attempts, and as you're probably guessing, my next attempt, which I'll be doing another 3 laps, but that's with manual ERS. And basically my objective here is just to go as fast as possible. How quickly can I complete these 3 laps whilst using my ERS pretty much? And yeah, so we'll be able to see at the end here. Good start to the lap. Going through here, you want to be breaking the 100-meter board, 4th gear for it, and I elect to play all of these clips as well, or throughout the whole distance through. If you want to skip towards the end, I'll put a little timestamp down in the description if you want to skip to the end of each one, just to really know the result. But if you want to watch the laps, because I feel they're pretty good laps as well, and just see how much ERS is actually being used, then feel free to stay throughout the whole video. But one thing I noticed with auto ERS, that it literally stays in high, which is the number 3 setting, literally all the time. It does not change from that at all. The only time it changes is you may notice at the end when it goes basically right towards the end of this, you'll see it makes a few little changes which I'll just allow you to see, but it stays in high all the time. It does not change at all. It never really, very rarely goes into hot lap. The only time it went into hot lap when I tested it today was when I let all the AI go past at the start of the race. Then it flicked into number 5 setting, and then as soon as I caught up it went into number 4 and then went quickly back down into number 3 again. So you can see towards the end of the lap now, well, can't quite see, I think it's about 50-ish% here, but we're down to 45.1, which is an okay respectable time. But going on to this last lap now, trying to just get as close to that as possible, because the tyres got off a little bit quickly in the 3-lap race here. But just trying to keep it as consistent as possible, just so it's a fairly equal, fair test as well. Navigating through this, you want to thread it like a needle through there, not scrub off any speed, because it's very easy to even lose the car this year. If you actually hit the curb in an awkward way, it's very easy to do quite a big accident go through here. So we're completely level with our time through here at the moment, and you can see we've got, can't quite see, I think that's about 20-ish% ERSF, or 30-ish or 20-ish%. We can see now it's gone into the 5th setting, which is the hot lap mode. And the ERS and automatic, which I've seen, or which I've discovered today, is literally how many laps you've got in a race. So if you have 3 laps or 26 laps, if you're doing a 50% race, or 22 laps, it's just designed to just get you to the end without running out of ERS pretty much. That's literally what the automatic feature does. It just enables you, tries to make you go as fast as possible whilst having enough ERS for the very last lap of the race. You can see it's still in hot mode 5 because it realizes that it can actually use the ERS to the end of the race now. It didn't need to save that much. And it's quite interesting because running high, I thought I'd be losing a fair amount of time, but I don't actually lose that much time. And the lap, as you'll be able to see in the comparison, is not really a big difference as I really was actually thinking, which was quite surprising. But it's still, you'll be able to see what the actual outcome of this is. So coming through here now, still in hot lap mode, still got plenty of ERS left. Going across the line, I think we did a 45.1 again, or 102, so very, very consistent here. So that's the first run with auto, and it's just something, it's just frustrating because you just want to change it in some scenarios. Like if you're racing against someone online, and it's particularly at the start of the race, you want to put it in that hot lap mode, and if it just sticks you in high, you're just pretty much just sitting duck on the straight. Sometimes you need to deploy all your power at once, and it just doesn't allow you to do that at all. So this is now with the manual ERS mode, and you can see the lap times. I think we did a 47.6 and a 45.1, then a 45.3 there with the sector times. But now we'll be looking at this now using full hot lap mode, which you couldn't do at the start of the race here. It just allows a lot more flexibility, and just your scenario can change. Sometimes you could have spun off at the start of the race, you need to catch up, or other times you might not want to be using any ERS at all, and it just doesn't give you that option to potentially use all your ERS in one go over one lap. If you had a 5-second lead, you can literally just save it for 2 laps, and if someone starts to catch you up, you could just completely deploy 100% of your ERS before you come to the pits and potentially put away 2 or so seconds on one lap. That's how powerful it can really be. So it just doesn't give you that option to actually plan your race. You're just kind of just forced into one setting, which is usually seems to be in the high setting most of the time, the number 3 setting. You just can't really do anything about it. It doesn't really seem to adjust, even if there's AI in front of you and etc. Even when I was right behind an AI with about 2 laps to go and 50%, I still had about 90% of my ERS left, and it didn't go into overtake, it just stayed in high. So that was pretty annoying at all. But you can see here, running an overtake, as I mentioned, is quicker on the straight lines, and from gears 6 to 8 you want to use overtake, but I would strongly urge you to only use that when you really do need it. As the name suggests, when you're actually overtaking someone. I don't think it's necessary, because a hot lap is very good over one lap and just distributing the ERS equally. As you can see, we did a 47.6 as well. So the first lap, it shows that high is not too slow at all. But it also shows, which you may notice, I'm actually completely turning off my ERS through the corners at some points, putting it in low and medium, and still harvesting quite a lot of ERS at all. But you can see here, overtake is really quick on the straight, but it does cause you to run out of ERS a fair bit quicker than hot lap and any other mode. So I only strongly recommend you to use that when you really do need it, either on a qualifying lap or just when you're actually overtaking someone. And also running high, running hot lap and overtake is not really necessary. It only costs you, I think, about 2 to 3 temps per lap. What I'm tested at quite a lot of tracks. So running a medium and high, and then switching back down to no ERS at all. As you can see, we're switching in medium here, just trying to save a little bit, or trying not to use as much. And you can see, going up into 8th gear now, I'm now running no ERS at all. So just no power. It just enables us to just save just that little bit. And you only save ERS if you're lifting completely off the throttle, or if you're going heavy on the brakes. That's when you start to lose, you start to actually save some. And then we're going back into hot lap again, and then overtake for the 7th gear to 8th gear. But as I was saying, medium to high, I think you can pretty much get away with that most of the time. It may cost you a temp or 2 temps, but over a race distance, it will enable you to save so much more ERS in your back pocket for when you actually do need it. So if you've got a little bit of a lead, as I said, you might want to save a bit of ERS, and if someone's catching you, if they get within 2 seconds or a second of you, then you can just pump it up to hot lap or overtake and just get out that DRS zone, and you've still got plenty of ERS left. So it's all about strategy on this game, which I really am enjoying, to be honest. I really didn't think I would actually enjoy it, because at the start of the game I wasn't really wasn't a massive fan, because I really wanted to just focus on the driving. But now the strategic element of this game that it produces is just really fun for me. And then you may notice as well, we did a 44.5 with that strategy as well, using no ERS through the corners, hot lap on the overtake on the straights, and that's 6 temps quicker then we did automatic ERS, and I can confirm from testing this at other tracks as well, it's definitely quicker using manual ERS, and if you know how to use it, in my opinion, you can actually save more ERS as well. Automatic, I just think only focuses on just saving you, basically preventing you from running out of ERS at all to the end of a race. It will never ever let you hit the X where you deploy 100% ERS. It will never do that. Even if you drop back 20 seconds, it will stay in high or hot lap for a short period, but most of the time it's just staying in mode 3 high. But with manual ERS, you can see, I think it's very beneficial putting it down to low, even no ERS for the super tight corners, then running it in high or hot lap if you can, because it doesn't actually expend that much ERS, but hot lap, then back down to high, and then back to no ERS, as you can see through here. Well, I think we're actually using it all now because we've still got plenty of ERS left as well. Running no ERS doesn't really cost you much time in the corners, really on the straight. So manual ERS, in my opinion, is much quicker, and you can definitely save more as well. There's no doubt about it. So I thought that was quite a good test here, and you can see by the lap time or the overall time, 5 minutes 16 compared to 5 minute 18.6, I believe. So it's almost 2 seconds quicker total time overall as well. So you can prove not only the lap time is quicker, but over the course of a race distance, when I tested it in the 50% earlier today, it was quite a bit quicker, over 5 to 10 seconds, I'd say, over at least 5 seconds quicker than a 50% race. So it's good if you don't want to use it, but in my opinion, if you want to be competitive, I think there's no way to go about it. You definitely do need to use it because it will just be a lot faster for you, a lot more flexibility depending on your race scenario as well, and just the total race time, it will just be much faster, and you can just harvest more ERS as well. So hopefully that is a good comparison. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Let me know any other ideas you want me to do as well. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.